This is the screencast for section 6.2, example 1, the dot product of vectors. Well, a dot product or inner product of a vector of two vectors is when you take their x-coordinates and multiply and then add their y-coordinates multiplied. Now in future examples we will show you all kinds of uses for the dot product, but right now let's just work with it. There are some properties of the dot product that you should know. Number 1, the transitive property of multiplication works on the dot product of vectors. Number 2, we will show you how and why that works in example 2. Number 3, 0 times the u vector is going to be 0 because of the scalar multiplication we saw in section 6.1. In 4, the distributive property works on vectors. And example 5, the associative/transitive property of multiplication also works on vectors. So let's get started. Let's find some dot products. The dot product of part A, the vectors 3, 4 and 5, 2, would be the result of multiplying 3 times 5, the two x coordinates, plus 4 times 2, the two y coordinates. So 15 plus 8 is 23. So the dot product of those two vectors is 23. And the same follows with part B. The product of the x-coordinates plus the product of the y-coordinates, in this case, will be -10. Part C is definitely messier. Remember in section 6.1 the I and j unit vectors that we told you about? Well, I is the horizontal unit vector and j is the vertical unit vector. So I would be 1, 0 and j would be 0, 1. Well, I need to plug those in first in order to be able to distribute the scalars, do some subtraction, and then finally find the dot product. So first I plugged in the I and j vectors, then I distributed the scalars. Order of operations says now I'm going to do the subtraction of each pair of vectors that are in the parentheses. And now finally I can do the dot product of these two vectors. And the answer is 11. The now try problem, number 3, says find the dot product of vectors u and v. So again, I'll multiply their x-coordinates and then add the multiplication or product of their y-coordinates. And I get -47.